evening, historians. Continuing on my journey exploring the depths of the United States' involvement in World War I and the part that Woodrow Wilson played in this regard, I looked at a few sources that I gleaned from the Oxford Scholarship Online and Project Muse databases. When I do a search for anything that I am researching, I like to take a politically balanced approach, if at all possible. Through my research so far, I have found that Woodrow Wilson is quite a polarizing figure. There are those who really admire and love the man, and there are an equal number of those who name him as one of the worst presidents in United States history. I found a bit of the same with this most recent search. The first work that I would like to review comes from an author I've mentioned before here in this course in one of our few discussion threads so far, Arthur S. Link. Link could easily be viewed as the definitive biographer of Woodrow Wilson. Of his 24 works, 11 of them specifically cover the life of the 28th president, with a number of other writings covering World War I or the progressive movement that characterized the Wilsonian era. Link is certainly one of those historians who wrote favorably on Wilson, and that can be seen nowhere more so than the title that I am reviewing today, The Higher Realism of Woodrow Wilson. In it, Link fawns over Wilson with statements such as, he transformed the office of the president from that of an aloof presiding official into incomparably the most powerful force in the American constitutional system, the force that gave unity and direction not only to the other branches of government, but to public opinion as well. This is, as Link later puts it, the higher realism of a man who well understood the weaknesses of the American institutional structure, but who knew the fundamental strength of the American democracy far better than most so-called realists at the time. So basically, President Wilson existed on a plane far above other dignitaries or scholars of the age. Were anyone to levy criticisms against Wilson, it was not because the criticisms were legitimate, but simply that those providing the critique didn't understand the high ideals of Wilson. Link goes on and on like this throughout the entirety of this essay, as well as most of his other writings on Wilson. The next source is a book by Daniel Steed entitled The President as Statesman, Woodrow Wilson and the Constitution. In it, Steed takes a look at the development of Wilson from his early years as a student at Princeton and later as the president of Princeton and to his 2 terms serving as president of the United States. One chapter in particular, Chapter 3, Constitutional Government and Presidential Power, raises some serious questions about Wilson's intentions regarding the view of his own role as president, with his criticisms of the Founding Fathers and their intention to set limits on presidential power within the Constitution. Basically, he envisioned the role of president as the arbiter of disputes concerning the other branches of government. Given his views on unrestricted presidential power, it's no wonder why Wilson had aspirations for a 3rd term in office. The final scholarly reference to be reviewed takes Steed's work a bit further, centering the entire context of the book around the power dynamic that was the focal point of Woodrow Wilson's presidency. In Trygve Throntveit's Power Without Victory, Woodrow Wilson and the American Internationalist Experiment, the author goes so far as to describe Wilson's power grab as the American Internationalists' Experiment. Wilson not only wanted to be the head of state for one of the world's emerging superpowers, he also had designs of subjecting the rest of the world to his idealistic rule. Thank you. Have a good night.